Texas is on the move. Back in the spring, the Longhorns were sitting back in the 20s in the recruiting rankings, but now that the games got played, Texas is skyrocketing up the recruiting rankings. Last night, a big flip of Wardell Mack, but the Horns are not done. There's a few major developments that we're going to cover in this video, like how can Texas capitalize on A&M's coaching change? Are the Horns done flipping Gator commitments? And is a top 5 or even a top 3 finish possible? We're going to get all to it, but Texas fans, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We are growing this page. We got a ton of Longhorn recruiting to talk about, so do me a favor and hit subscribe, please. Okay. Let's bring on the best insider in the Texas market, Jerry Hamilton of Inside Texas. Jerry, we've been talking about Wardell Mack on the show, but that flip from UF to Texas on Sunday night kind of caught me off guard. You and I, we talked off the record, but we thought it would happen in December. So What transpired between Texas and Mack for him to flip on Sunday with really no warning?
Yeah, I think Sark and Terry Joseph, first of all, did a really good job staying in contact with Mack and the family multiple times per week. And when I was at John Ehret last week, Wardell Mack said, I can see the vision of Steve Sarkisian at Texas. And that was the headline of the article on Inside Texas. Wardell Mack has a vision for Texas. I mean, he talked about it. So Sark did a really good job, and Terry Joseph selling that vision. I think the other thing was, once that Florida commitment became really shaky with the season they were having, this comes down to Texas and Florida State. Florida State had 2 corners committed. Then they got Jamari Howard flipped late last week, and that gave FSU 3 corners committed, 4 DBs already in the class. And I think that really helped push Texas over the finish line in a battle that could have gone on a little bit longer. Because one thing Wardell Mack said to me was he got a 5 a.m. text every day from Mike Norvell, from Patrick Surtain, and the FSU staff. They were on him too. When Jamari Howard flipped, though, I think that became the real opening for Texas to close this one out.
And as I said, Jerry, Texas is not done. They are marching toward that top 5 class. They want more. Take a look. Xavier Phillips committed to UF. He's on the board. These are some big-time flips right here. Dominic McKinley, defensive lineman, committed to A&M. Defensive lineman TJ Lindsay committed to Auburn. And then Miles Davis, another A&M commit. So, Jerry, let's start at the top with Xavier Phillips. We know that there's been a lot of talk between the Texas staff and the 5-star Gator commitment, but now that things are starting to loosen up on that Gator commit list, what are you hearing about him?
Yeah, I think the big thing, there's 2 things with Phil saying. One, they're still in the playoffs. So if they beat Highland Park this week on Friday, then they'll have another playoff game around Thanksgiving. That means that would knock out a trip to Florida to watch the Florida State game. Mm-hmm. Would that give Texas an opportunity to get him on campus for the Texas Tech game? Because it's a 2.5 hour drive versus a plane flight to Gainesville. We'll see on that. But the high school season, how long McKinney High wins and plays, is going to impact Florida's chances to get him on campus again for that Florida State game. I would think the other thing, though, for Texas, they have to get him on campus for this to become real. Him and his father, who lives in McKinney, his mom lives in Orlando, they have to get to campus for this to be real. I think Texas is in a good spot as far as conversations go, but I think he still remains pretty solid with Florida right now. Like I said, they got to get him on campus. If Texas gets him on campus with his father, then I think this will get very serious.
Yeah, right now it's probably a recruitment to keep an eye on, but if he shows up in Austin, I think that recruitment goes from 0 to 60 real quick. Looking at the list, Dominic McKinley committed to Texas A&M. Now, this is one where McKinley doesn't say a whole lot, so it's tough to read. But do you think that of all the names we have here listed, do you think Dominic McKinley is probably the toughest flip right now?
If you look at the way this is played out for guys that committed elsewhere that were Texas top targets and made official visits to Texas, McKinley's had the least communication with Texas. Of all those guys Texas is staying in contact with, he's been more solid to Texas A&M than anybody else that Texas is still trying to recruit. So that's light communication by Texas. I think the family would have to ramp that up depending on what happens with the A&M situation. Is Elijah Robinson going to be on the next staff in College Station? I think some of that's going to have to play out pretty quick for Texas or anyone else to have a legitimate shot with Dominic McKinley.
All right, staying on the defensive line, you got TJ Lindsay. He's down there at IMG Academy in Florida. Committed to Auburn, though. And there's been some smoke around his recruitment. He's talking to Texas as well, has been on campus. What are you hearing on TJ Lindsay? It feels like yesterday that we were counting down from 100 days until the season starts. Hey guys, wake up. The season is almost over. And the games have been great, don't get me wrong. But you know what's not great? Finding last-minute tickets. Finding tickets before a game can be a flat-out nightmare. Do not let this be the way that your season goes. That's why I'm here to tell you about Game Time. It's the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the big-time matchups. Game Time will get you to this year's biggest college football games with elite deals on last-minute tickets and the best price guarantee. Don't stress over getting into your team's favorite rivalry game of the year. There's only so many big games left, and you need to get these tickets at the best prices. Game Time is the place for last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning months in advance. Who has time for that? Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It's the place for last-minute seats. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets on all the sports entertainment events. So here's what we're going to do. Right now, snag the tickets without stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code INSIDESCOOP for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use redeem code INSIDESCOOP for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Yeah, I think he's talking to the same three programs where this decision came down to. Obviously committed to Auburn. He's scheduled to be at the Iron Bowl, which if Auburn gets him on campus for the Iron Bowl, I think it's going to be tough for Texas or Miami, who's still trying to make an effort there. But he's talked to Texas about coming to town. The question is, could he legitimately get to town for the Texas Tech-Texas game on a Friday, then go to the Iron Bowl on Saturday? I think that's a tough ask, but he remains in contact with Steve Sarkisian and Bo Davis weekly right now.
All right. Miles Davis, of course. We have another A&M commitment on here. Texas looking to capitalize. Safety Miles Davis, he's a 4-star. And what's the latest on his recruitment to the Longhorns?
Yeah, I think Texas Blake Gideon, safeties coach, remains in contact with him. Miles Davis told Inside Texas twice within the last month that he plans to visit for the Texas Tech game. The question there is Xavier Phillips, Miles Davis. Texas isn't going to take two more high school safeties. They have Jordan Johnson Rebel committed in the class already. They would take one more high school safety if it's the guy they really want. So we'll see. Does this visit happen in late November, Josh? That might tell you what Texas thinks about their chances with Phil Same at the same time.
How about you give me a bonus name of a potential Texas A&M flip?
Yeah, Ty Anthony Smith is the guy I've got my eyes on, and we have on at Inside Texas. Look, he had the linebacker out of Jasper, 4-star. He had an official visit scheduled to Texas for the Kansas game September 30th, and that got canceled day of. And he was very upfront with Texas A&M, and Texas A&M got him to back off that official visit date. He's remained in contact with Texas. Linebackers coach Jeff Choate, head coach Steve Sarkisian. Him and the family remain in contact with Texas throughout this process. Again, the question becomes now, how long does it take for A&M to go through this process? With the early signing period around December 20th, there's a window there that Texas A&M has to operate really quickly. And if that process slows down enough, I think there's a chance we'll see Smith on campus in Austin. He stayed pretty strong with his commitment to Texas A&M. Yeah. He really likes DJ Durkin. So Texas will have to overcome that depending on how quick A&M moves in their process.
Yeah, still early in this coaching search for A&M. A lot could still shake out. But, Jerry, do you think that we could be looking at another top 5 finish for the Texas Longhorns in recruiting?
Yeah, I think Texas leads big for Kobe Black, as they have for months at this point now. And Texas is 7 with the flip of Wardell Mack. Now, some other things will happen. Could you bump the 8 at some point here if other guys commit? Possibly. But Texas has 20 commitments. They have a lot of runway left compared to some other classes ranked ahead of them. So if Texas pushes that number to 24 in this class, judging on the last, since August, Texas only got 5-star and 4-star commitments. And the guys they're in on now are all 4-star guys and 5-star Xavier Phillips. So chances are if they push to 24, they're going to end with a 3rd straight top 5 class.
Man, it is shaping up to really finish just how you said it would when we were talking back in May and June, and the Longhorns were sitting there at number 24 in the country. Jerry Hamilton, it's an exciting time to cover the Texas Longhorns. Thanks for dropping by the Inside Scoop today.
You got it.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.